You see, they don't play that over there. We're not playing with that seductive, that Jezebel spirit. So you have to understand that these Europeans coming from Great Britain, they worship these female goddesses. Don't you know that Great Britain is named after a goddess, the goddess Britannia? Look it up. It's named after a false god, a goddess. So they worship that feminine energy, that Jezebel spirit. You're now tuned in to Followers of the Way, where you get that raw, uncut, and unadulterated truth. Stay tuned. Shalom and greetings to all the followers of the way out there, my brothers and sisters that are scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. I greet all of y'all this morning and send out shalom and barakas in the one and only true name of our Father, the Creator, the All Shaddai, Abba Yahuwah. As I have taught you over the years, you know that the Father name is not Yahweh, the Father name is not Yahweh, Ahaya, Yahweh, or none of these other names that you see our brothers peddling, those that sit within these different lofty places within these different Hebrew Israelite congregations. And it amazes me how a man who professed to be sent by the Most High, that's supposed to be a leader and watchful of everything that's going on, cannot look out on the terrain, okay, and see how you have these different Hebrew Israelite congregations calling on all of these different names, when the scriptures help us to understand that the Father has one name. And see, the reason this is because, see, once people are built up into a certain a place, they don't want to backtrack and be like, oh, well, this is that, because they want to hold on to that power. See, one of the tools that the enemy has used against us is the tactic of divide and conquer, okay? Because when you look into the world of Babylon, you look at like Christianity, you can see how, although you may have a Baptist church, a Pentecostal church, a Roman Catholic church, they all push the name Jesus. See, they all got the same product, although they may differ with it, you know, with certain ingredients. This church might differ with this church on this particular doctrine or whatever the case may be. But they all in accord whenever it comes down to that false name. And so as they looking at us, the enemy like, oh, well, they all divided. They all doing that. So nobody can really take us seriously, you see. And this is something that we have to deal with, you know, so that we all can get in one accord and call on the name of the Father, because the Father helps us understand that he's going to return back to us the pure language where we can call on him in one accord. So why are we doing that? You know, over the years, I've dealt with a lot of different brothers that have come through here, and see, what it boils down to is that a lot of people have a problem with just kind of sitting down, coming into the knowledge of what the truth is. It's like a lot of people have to be tied in with people and fellowshipping with people, whether people really have the full 100 truth or not. You know, long as they got a little bit of truth, that's okay for them, because for them it's more about the interaction, the fellowshipping, than it really is about the truth. You know, whenever certain points are being brought forth, people are not going to deal with that. Why? Because they know that if they actually push the envelope on certain things, then it's going to cause separation, and people will have to separate and go in different paths. And see, me, I don't have a problem with that. You know, one of the things that was a gift and a curse was years ago when I was doing time within the federal penitentiary. One of the things that I used to do, because I used to always be in this stuff, I would be in the hole, which is like lockup, okay? And they put you in a room probably about a little bit more, probably a little about bigger than a bathroom, depending on what type of house you live in, whatever the case may be. Some may be smaller than others, but something around that size, just the four corners. You got your bed, your bathroom, and a little window, and you're in this room 23 hours out the day, sometimes 24 one, you know what I'm saying? Because some days you may just come out for a shower or go to rec for, 30 minutes, an hour, something like that. But outside of that, you stay in that particular room. And it was during that time period that the Father actually slowed me down. Because I used to be the same way, where I'm able to sit down and I don't mind being by myself and analyzing the different things I got going on within my life and trying to put things in their proper perspective. So I don't always have to be dealing with people. I deal with people because at the end of the day, I am a people person, and the Father knows that I'm going to be about his business and do the things that he's asking me to do, and be righteous and deal with people in a righteous manner, But I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And see, a lot of people, they're not able to do that. They have to always be into something. They have to always be, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these people don't even be following what the word is actually putting down anyway, because if they was, then a lot of these people they're dealing with, they wouldn't be dealing with. You see? So, at the end of the day, this is just what it is. And I know that the name of Yahuwah is the real name of the Father. And I have proven that, And anybody that want any wreck on that, they already know what's up, I've dealt with this. It's just like a guy the other day, he hit me up and was like, oh, well, in the Paleo Hebrew, there wasn't no vowels. And I said, according to what? You've received information from on high, from these different men that's over these different congregations. They have put this in your ear and said, this is what it is, and you just parroting that back. You haven't done no research on that. Because if you did, you would know that this is a lie. And I've showed them. Back in the day when I showed them. How is it that I'm looking at the same manuscripts you're looking at, and I see the consonants being used as vowel, indicating vowel sounds, and then you looking and telling people, oh, ain't no vowels in the ancient Hebrew. Who are we gonna believe? The manuscripts that we have that have been written and recorded in time, or somebody that want to push a certain ideology or concept with no proof? Come on, people, we got to do better than this. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm going to stay on top of this, and I ain't going to play, going to let up. I don't care who with me, who not with me. It don't even matter. I'm going to fulfill and finish my course. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. Now, moving right along. I'm going to ask brothers and sisters, right, as you're watching these videos in the future, if it's information in the videos that you like, I'm going to ask you to hit the like button. Okay, if it's information that you think can help a family, a friend, or a coworker or something like that, I'm going to ask you to share with them or share on the different platforms you have. The reason why I'm saying that is because YouTube have shadow banned me, okay, due to the fact that I have spoke out against the machine, okay. You have to understand, as I explained to you, that there's a war going on against anybody that is speaking truth on any front, We're in the age of artificial intelligence. People want to push artificial information. The information is artificial. The people is artificial. The food is artificial. We like the last of a dying breed, So we have to war back against the machine, okay? And this is how we war back, because everything is set to like an algorithm. So when they see traffic and then they have to put it out. There's people that's not even getting notifications when videos drop, okay? So we got to war back, and I'm actually right now in the process of looking at some other alternatives, different platforms. I know that towards the beginning of the year, I set up an account with Rumble. So I'm going to start, when I upload to YouTube, I'm going to upload over there too, kind of like a backup page where people can go to. So I'll leave a link in the description box to the page, and I also leave like a registration if you ain't signed up to Rumble. Get signed up. It's nothing to sign up. And then kind of looking at Patreon and things like that. So I'm going to be working on that here in the weeks and months to come to see what direction I want to go. But what brothers and sisters can do is go to the website and just subscribe to the website. That way I have your emails and things like that. And then if for some reason they shut the page down on YouTube, then I'll be able to connect with you all and be able to send out like a mass mailer to what's going on or how I'm going to be set up. Because eventually what I'm going to do is, if you go to the website is just kind of laying dormant right now. I haven't like really posted any new information because here in the weeks and months to come, when I got the time to do it, I'm getting ready to get the whole website updated and get it redone, and I'm actually going to be looking at trying to get my own personal server where I can just upload, and I don't have to deal with going through these hosted companies and nothing. You just have your own stuff, because whenever you warn against a machine, they can play with you and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna cut this off or cut that off if you're not in in agreement with what they got going on. So I'm going to be also looking to try to get something set up, and then I can just put all the material there, and then, people can just go there and don't have to worry about, the information being shadow banned. So with YouTube, we're just going to roll it till the wheels fall off. If you wake up one day and the channel gone, then you already know what's up. Okay, so we have to get ahead of the enemy and stay on point, because we're in war right now. So and it's crazy when you think about it. How you have a system of people that are out to destroy people. You got people lining up to get the screw juice, don't know what's in it, what's going on. And I mean, it's funny to me, because this is supposed to be a nation that's 70 to 75% Christians, people that believe in Jesus. It amazes me about all these people that love Jesus. And you know how the saying go, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. Nobody want to die, but everybody want to go to heaven. Scared to death. Oh, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I already know what's up, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's get into this message today. And I know that I said that I have a lot of things coming down the pipeline, and I do. But you have to understand that we are in warfare. And when the Ruach move me to move on the subject, then I have to move, and I move with haste. We got to preach this thing in season and out of season. Okay. So today I'm going to be dealing with the subject of homosexuality. Okay. Because you have a spirit that is moving throughout this earth that is looking to seek and destroy anybody that opposes it. Okay. Just to kind of give people an idea of what's going on, when you look here into this nation, we can see how, I'm going to just give you a little timeline of certain things, and then we're going to go in. But we can see how years ago they passed the laws for gay marriage, okay, which was a big thing during that time period. Then you kind of went from there to they did the thing with the gender neutral bathrooms and stuff like that, okay. Then today it's just, now it's like something that used to be taboo, that used to be taboo is now something that's generally accepted, a way of life now, okay? Where you have men trying to be women and women trying to be men, and it's acceptable. I look at this situation with, there was this lady, and this was like last year sometime, and I forget the college team, where she was kicking the ball, the field goals or the kickoff or something to that extent. And, the women that, these type of women are classified as like lesbians or butches, women that want to be men. Now, I'm not saying that this woman was a lesbian or anything like that. I don't know her sexual preference or anything, but I find it strange that here you have a woman that knows she's a woman that's trying to participate in a male dominant sport where it's just all men, and men are just naturally physically bigger and stronger than women naturally, but she wants to go out here and compete in a man's sport with men. I find that strange, So I think the other day, one of the brothers had sent me this article where out in California, they have passed this law where if a man, and I believe the same thing goes for the woman, but if a man identifies as a woman, a transgender or whatever, then they are housing these men in women facilities with women prisoners, okay? And I think it was something where one of the inmates or something got pregnant or something, but you can look that up. It's going on in California right now. So as you sit back and you look at like what is going on, you can see slowly but surely that spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah opening up, rising his head over here in this nation. Okay. And then when I focus my attention on the Hebrew community, because this is what really has provoked and moved me to go in on this Sodom and Gomorrah spirit. You have what is known, some of you might not be familiar with the guy, but you have this guy known as Little Nas X, a Hebrew, okay, who they are using as the face of this homosexual LGTB or whatever you want to call it movement. You see the scriptures help us understand that we're dealing with spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, these are people that sit in these high places in the earth, whether it's politicians, judges, CEO executives, the people that's over these news companies, the big tech firms, these people that are in high places that have the money in order to fuel and push certain agendas. You see, a lot of us are coming from a place where, I know for black people, a lot of black people are coming from a state where, you know, growing up, a lot of people didn't have a lot of different things. So whenever they have the opportunity to get large sums of money, they're going to cash in on that idea. And they would take that money and trade for their morals and principles. Okay. And there's something that you can see that's been going on over the years. They have been slowly but surely working these things in. When you look at Hollywood and you look at these different movies and all of these people from the black communities and Tyler Perry and all these people that's running around in dresses and acting like women and stuff, that is that same spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah that is in operation here in this nation that's moving to destroy the children of the Most High. You see, and even that in itself goes directly against the law, because when you go into the book of the law, it tells you that the Father is saying that men are not to wear women clothes, dresses and skirts and things like that, you know, cross-dressing and things of that nature. That's here in the book of the law. But the preachers are not preaching that in the pulpits on Sunday, because these preachers here in this nation have been duct taped and hog-tied. They are in subjection to the state and to the government. Whatever the government tells them to do, they have to do it. And those that are in opposition are getting crossed out. They get X'd out. You see, so you have, you know, this movement and this attack and this assault on our people. And so what goes on is whenever anybody speaks out against it, here comes the transformer, the LGBT community attempting to try to cancel and silence people, like, you better not speak and go against the machine or we're going to shut you down. And so you must understand that the children of the Most High, the messengers that he has sent in the earth, we're not bound by those ordinances. You see, and we have to deal with this spirit that a lot of people are not going to speak on or can't speak on, because they are tied into different circles that's not going to allow them to speak on these things and really give their true opinion. So before I give my opinion on the subject, because you always hear people saying, well, we can let people be who they want to be, and this is da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. Let's go to the person that we all say we love, the Father, the Most High, and see what he has to say on the subject, because that's where it starts and finish. Whatever the Father say on the subject, this is what it is. People can be in their feelings, people can be in their opinions. It doesn't matter. What do the book say on this particular subject? Okay, so now if you would, let's open up to the book of Leviticus, and we're going to Leviticus chapter 20 when I get here. And let's pick up at verse number 13, right? It says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood should be upon them. So right off the muscle, right off top, we see the Father in his word, coming from the Father, given to the prophet Moses. This is what you tell my people. The Father is identifying this act as an abomination, okay? An abomination that was worthy of death. So this shows us how much the Father is in opposition to those concepts and ideologies that are being peddled here in this nation. And the reason why is because the Father created all of us for a purpose. You see, he created man and woman for a purpose. So he tells us that this is what it is, and that should be it, right? So why is it that people are warned against what the Father has said? And I just be sitting back when these people that speak out against this, where they say, okay, we're going to cancel you and this and that, and they go write these apologies, and I'm saying, why don't they go to the word and be like, this is what the Father said? You say you love the Father, you love God and this and that, but God is telling you that this is an abomination. So why are we pacifying and going along with this stuff to appease people's feelings for? and make them feel good in this lawlessness that they're committing. Now, to those, and I'm dealing with my community right now, the Israelites here in this nation. So you know that recently you had the rapper The Baby that came out and made the statements where basically, and I'm not going to go into what he said, but basically he was saying if you're not a homosexual, basically, you know, turn your light, put your lighters on and this and that. And you had the transformer community come out and try to silence him and try to cancel him. Okay. And they began to say, okay, well, we dropping you from here. You dropping from here. You homophobic, this and that. See, what people have to understand is that these brothers and sisters are tied into the machine. Whatever master tells them to do, they have to do it. You see, why would somebody cancel somebody for something that's biblical that you know is not right? It's because these people in these high places are secretly indulging into these things. But the people on the forefront, the LGBT community and all these different people, they're nothing more than just pawns. And see, what we have to start doing, my brothers and sisters, is we have to start holding these people in our communities that want to be the leaders of the black community and be the face. We got to start holding their feet to the fire because they really don't represent us. They are doing what master tells them to do. They are like the house Negroes. You see? They're going to do whatever master tells them to do. It's just like back in slavery. And I'm going to get into this when Black History Month go around. Those black preachers and pastors that were that were on the plantations and stuff that would come in and teach church to the people. They would come in and love your master, don't run away, and don't do this and that. They would tap dance and work for master, and master would grease their palms. You see? House Negroes. It's the same thing today. These people in these places of power, you know, our actors, our actresses, you know, our singers, our best, they know that this stuff is not right, but they're not gonna come out and speak because wow, I don't want to lose my money. I don't want to lose this because people going. So we have to speak up and hold these people to the fire. A lot of these people in the black community that come from the black community that's supposed to be the face ain't doing nothing for the people. Let's think about this for a second. There's enough money running through the hands of our people, whether they're athletes, movie stars, singers, actors, you know, entrepreneurs. There's billions and probably trillions I know billions and billions of dollars that's moving. If everybody came together collectively, they could come together and put something together and start building up these communities that have been torn down by some of these people. But you don't see that. We don't see the P. Diddy or the Jay-Z grocery stores in our neighborhood, you know, in the hood. You know, we don't see these chains out here where they are trying to provide and get clean food to the people. Our people's at the mercy of these Europeans that are feeding our people these GMOs, these genetically modified fake foods and stuff. Stuff that's messing our brains up and altering our DNA. This is what they're subject to. As the upper class get the whole foods and the organic and the natural food, they feeding you all this GMO genetically modified stuff. Why they not pushing that? Why they don't have stores and stuff in the hood to help the people? You see? And I don't want to hear that, oh, well, you know, when black people try to do something in the hood. No. The problem be with some of these people, they be involved with different stuff within these neighborhoods. So this is why they have problems and people be hating on them. You can't tell if think about this, my brothers and sisters, and I want you to grasp this. If Chicago and all these different places was so dangerous that they say Compton and New York and all these different places that they're talking about, how is it that the Arabs and all these people get to sit in these same hoods and make all this money if the hoods are so dangerous? Why ain't they having no problems in these places? They in all your corner stores, your liquor stores. How do they sit out in these places and make money if these places are so dangerous like that? It's because some of these individuals that's coming from there are involved in these different things within these neighborhoods. So yeah, people gonna hate on you. You know, if you kicking up dust and doing all this stuff in the neighborhood. You see, yeah. But what do? They got, if you notice, they have what? You have the Ace of Spades, the Ciroc, the Beverly, all of this stuff that these rappers are promoting. Why are they doing this? Because they know that you're going to go out and buy this stuff, because when you're ready to turn up, this is what you see them doing. So you have to have that, and they're going to make money off of you. You see? So all this garbage, when you see people getting killed, and it goes back to them. If they stop promoting this stuff in their music, then it won't be going on. But if they stop doing that, then they can't make money off of that. And this is what Master has sent them to do. Oh, I'm going to let you capitalize and make money off of this, off of our downfalls and all of these tragedies that's going on in our neighborhoods. I'm going to let you make money off of that. But if you try to go against the machine, we're going to cut you off. You see, this is what's going on. And this is why we have to start holding their feet to the fire. If they're not going to help our people in our community, we have to stop supporting them and buying their stuff. Don't nobody care because they give you a turkey at, oh, they gave me a turkey at Thanksgiving and I like so. Ain't nothing compared to all the money that people are spending with these people. It's the same stuff the slave masters did in slavery. Christmas time and all these holidays, they give you old chicken. Oh, I love my master. He gave me an extra chicken. But master done made millions and millions of dollars off your back off of all this cotton that you've been picking. You see? Come on, man. You know, and then there was a situation with the rapper Boosie that came out against Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade's son identified as being gay, you know, and everybody was like, well, you know, everybody free to do this and that. Let me get some scripture on this, because I want to, because you got a lot of parents out here that are weak and are not teaching their children like they're supposed to be teaching them. The Father let us know. The Father, he's the master thinker. He's already laid out the foundation here in the book. All we have to do is just follow what the book tells us to do, and we don't have to worry about this type of stuff. When you go into the 10 Commandments, the Father helps us to understand that you should honor thy father and thy mother. The penalty for not honoring thy father and mother was death. And see, this is why a lot of people you see on the earth today, in this generation that we coming up with, are not having, you know, any type of good luck and having a lot of misfortunes, because they don't honor their mother and their fathers, their parents, you know. And I know, like for me, I might have disagree with my parents and stuff on that, but I'm going to still respect and honor them like the book tells us to do. And see, the penalty for not honoring your parents was death. You know, a lot of kids go out here and not listen to their parents, and stuff happened to them. The stuff is befalling them because they're not honoring and listening to their parents. So already the Father had set a standard. The children will honor the father and the mother. Now, with saying that, if we go to, Deuteronomy chapter 6, and I'm going to pick up at verse number 6. Now listen to this. It says, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk to them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So the Father is saying, the children are to honor their parents, but parents, it is your job to instruct your children in the ways of the Most High. You see? So if Dwayne Wade was instructing his children in the ways of the Most High, how is it that you can have your children coming out, young children identifying as bisexual or trans, or however they want to classify it? How is that? And you can't say, oh, well, they free, because the Father, once again, stay in Deuteronomy. And let's turn over to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 21. And I'm going to pick up at verse 18. It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken to them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his city and unto the gate of this place, and they shall say unto the elders of his city, this is our son, stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is gluttonous and a drunkard, and all the men of the city shall stone him with stones. So the prescription for disobedience to parents was death. And the Father identified this as wickedness. He says that he died, so shalt thou put evil away from among you. He identified this as evil and wickedness. So he has put the children in your possession, and the children are to be obedient to you. And if your children are not listening to you and you have to whoop them, the father don't have a problem with that because his prescription was death. See, this is the least you can do. So you can't say, well, my children ain't listening. That means you are a weak parent. You are allowing your children to do what they want to do instead of instructing them in the ways of the Most High. So when you see all these young children running around identifying that these are their parents sacrificing them and turning them over to Satan, the devil, where spirits can move into these vessels and take up habitation and continue along with this spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. This is what's going on. Now, some people might say, well, that was in the Old Testament. Okay, skip on down here to the New Testament real quick. You know, go with me to the book of Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, children, obey your parents and the master, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment, which is not, but it's one of the commandments, with promise. So even in the New Testament, so the people say, well, that's what's only, even in the New Testament, your children are commanded to be in obedience to you. Nothing has changed. But what we're seeing here, my brothers and sisters, is the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. Go with me to the book of Genesis, because it's important that brothers and sisters see and understand this spirit, okay? Go with me to Genesis chapter 19, okay? And we're getting ready to get into this account with Sodom and Gomorrah a lot, right? Now, if we look at... let's look at verse number 5 right here. Well, hold on, let me back up here. Let's back up to verse number 4. So this is Genesis chapter 19, verse number 4. Okay, so we know that Sodom has brought the Malachim in and they're dwelling with them, right? Now, verse 4 says, before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out the door unto them and shut the door after them and said, I pray you, brother, do not do so wickedly. Okay. And I'm gonna stop right there. Okay. Now let's do an exegesis on the text. You know, let's do a real exegesis on the text. Now let's look at this, right? So here we have Lot, right? He's in Sodom, okay? He's brought these men into his house, right? If we pay close attention, right? This is what I want to key in on in verse number 4. It says, even the men of Sodom compassed the house round about, both old and young, okay? All the people from every quarter, okay? So what this is telling us is that you had all the men from all the quarter, whether they were old men or young men, that pressed up on the house, okay? And so basically what it is, these men came in, so basically to them it was like fresh meat, you know what I'm saying? They like, where those hard legs at, you know, like, you know, where they at, you know? So what this is telling us is that 9 times out of 10, we break this down, the men in Sodom and Gomorrah were bisexual, okay? Because you had the older men and you had the younger men. So that means that the younger men it's something that was taught by the older men, and that means that the older men had to be having children or offspring, because the only way you can produce offspring is by a man and a woman. You see? Which leads me to believe that when we look at this account, you notice that the father didn't save the husbands of Lot's daughters, okay? Because if you remember, one of the things that Abraham asked, he said, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Okay? Will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? So we know the father's not going to destroy the righteous with the wicked. And if you notice when Lot went to his sons and all, like, they mocked them, and so it sounds to me that maybe they were also bisexual and were also indulging into these same activities for the father not to deliver them up out of there. Okay? So what you have to understand is that We see how back during the days and times of Sodom and Gomorrah, how you not only had the older men, but the younger men. It's the same thing we see here in this nation today, how you have those that are older, that are in these positions of power. Some might not be, but you have those in power pushing this agenda. And now you have younger people that's coming out that's identifying as transgender. You see, it's the same thing that was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. This is why we have to speak out against these things. And you have to know when you hear this message going out, that judgment is near. This is why when the Malachim came down, they told Lot, get on back up in here. We done seen enough. We're going to deal with them in the morning. You see? So you have to know and understand that when this word is going out, when people start sharing this, and it's going out here, they're going out here, and people start listening to it, you got to know that judgment is on the way. You know, fathers are not going to play. But what I want you to understand, because I'm showing you how we are still living in the days and times of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? If we look down here, right? Let me jump down to let's read verses 8 and 9. Let's just keep going. It says, behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only these men do nothing, for there came under the shadow of my roof. So Lot, listen, Lot is saying, like, listen, man, y'all tripping. I done invited these people into my house, and y'all on this BS. He's saying, take my daughters. You know, the man was like, forget that. We want those hard legs. Those men that came in there, we want them. But what I want to key in on is that if you look at verse 9, it says, and they said, after he attempted to reprimand them, stand back, and they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge now. We will deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to breaking the door. So what they're saying is, Lot, you came in to sojourn. Who do you think you are trying to correct and tell us who and what we can do with whoever we want to do? You see, going at Lot. This is the same thing you see today. When these people come out and attempt to speak against the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah, what do the machine do? They do the same thing. Who do you think you are? Don't you know we made you millions and gave you this and that? Now we don't strip all of that from you, you know, unless you play ball. It's the same spirit. When you reprimand that spirit of Sodom, this is why you have to have a messenger in the earth that is not bound by those things, that can speak out on these things, where people can really hear the message and get an understanding on this. Same thing. Just like they came out against Lot, they come out against anybody that is in opposition to that ideology. Okay, so I'm not going to be here long, and I'm going to finish up in the New Testament now, okay, because some of the people say, well, you know, that was in the Old Testament, because what's going to happen is that when people share and get this message out on the main line, and these preachers and stuff here, they're going to say, oh, yeah, that brother, that's what the Bible say, but it's all about love, and Jesus loved you, and all of this garbage. So what I want to do is I want to finish up in the New Testament, a couple more places we're going to go, and I'm going to wrap this thing up. That way, you know, it's going to be like checkmate, you know. And no matter which way you try to run with it, you're going to be trapped off, okay? Now I want to go to the book of Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1 and verse number 26, right? It says, for this cause the Almighty gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving natural use of the woman, burned in lust one towards another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. You see, so here's Paul telling you the same thing we read in the book of the law, what the Father stated, that these acts are abomination. It's the same exact thing. And it's right here in the New Testament. Okay. The last thing that I want to finish up with is in the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And we're going to start reading at verse number 9. It says, "Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind." So what Paul is saying, essentially, is that the people that are homosexuals, gay, however they want to classify, is not going to enter into the kingdom. So how is it that these preachers is sitting back and allowing people to stay in these different positions of where they at and not reprimand them to get on the right page? Okay, because if you follow the doctrine, these were people that had already received the Mashiach. These were supposedly already people that were walking in the truth. So even that, he's still telling them that these people are not going to enter into the kingdom. So all this stuff about love and that doesn't even apply here. So why is it that we don't see these preachers preaching this? See, you have to understand that, and I'm just using the way as an example, okay? We know at some point in time, he goes to church. Whether it's on Christmas or Easter, at some point he goes. So why is it not these preachers, these supposed shepherds that are over these different churches that they're going to, why are they not sitting down with this brother and telling him, listen here, brother, I understand everything you did in the NBA, your career, this and that, but this stuff with your son, the father does not condone. You see, and if they really truly believe the Christian faith and what's saying, and they're being told right here in the book that they're not going to enter into the children, why would they allow their children to do that? And start them off on the wrong path already to damnation when the script tell you these people are not going to enter in. The pastors don't say that because they only there for the money, for the tithes. They know that these individuals are going to grease their palms. They're going to get money from them, some more than others, to hear that feel-good message. So they're going to give the people what they want instead of what they need. They know that if these preachers was in these congregations, these churches really preaching that word, don't you know that a lot of these people wouldn't even go? First thing they say, oh man, he whack, he talk, we ain't going there no more. We'll take our money over here. Because people want to live in sin, and they think just because they're giving money that the Father's forgiving them and they're doing the right thing. But they want these feel-good messages. And as I told you, these preachers cannot preach the word. Number one, they ain't been sent. And number two, they have been duct taping hogtied. They do what the state or the government tell them to do. They have to peddle that garbage. And this is why it's time for our brothers and sisters to wait and come up out of these places. You see, so my brothers and sisters, a lot of people can't speak on it. I'm going to speak on this thing. You know, and like I said, they want to try to take this stuff and go around into all these other different nations and try to administer this demonic spirit. You see, when you look in the Middle East, why do you notice, like right now, when you hear this stuff about, oh, the Taliban is back in power and women's rights, they're trying to use women's rights as a shield in order to infiltrate and administer that spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah, that spirit of rebellion in these different places that they are trying to go into and conquer and colonize. This is why I respect the men over in the East, because they're not going for that. The women over there is going to be in rebellion and all that other stuff. They not playing with it. Why you think when you look at if you go back and you look at like CNN, I forget the news woman or whatever that was over there that was speaking. If you notice she was covered up and was wrapped up, right? Because they're not playing with it. They don't care nothing about you being American or you being a woman and woman rights. They will deal with you over there. This is why years ago there was a lady in Saudi Arabia over there with her not head covered, hair down. Because see over there they understand the power of seduction. You see, you have no business out here running around like you see the women running around over here in this nation. Everywhere you go, there's bikinis and everybody's models and all of this is hanging out. It don't matter if you're married or not. You see, they don't play that over there. We're not playing with that seductive, that Jezebel spirit. So you have to understand that these Europeans coming from Great Britain, they worship these female goddesses. Don't you know that Great Britain is named after a goddess, the goddess Britannia? Look it up. It's named after a false god, a goddess. So they worship that feminine energy, that Jezebel spirit. And the thing that the enemy know is that if he can use the woman, then he know that he can corrupt. This is the recipe to disaster. Go back to the beginnings of time. Who did the serpent go in on? The woman. So this is what they're trying to use around the world, but they're not going for it over there. So you don't see this stuff going on in these Islamic countries. I was watching this thing, it was some years ago where I think it was at a UN council, and they was trying to push this LGB or GT or however they want to classify it. And that the African president was like, we don't play that stuff over here. I don't care what y'all do over there in the West. Y'all ain't coming over here with that. So my brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, I just wanted to touch on this particular subject. I didn't want to be all day, but we got to get this message out to people. And the thing that I want to leave brothers and sisters with is that I don't want people to feel like, because this is not a hate speech, and this is not an attack on people that have come from that way of life or are struggling with demons, okay? What you have to understand is that we have to hold the line, okay? The Father has already told us that these things are an abomination. And I've explained to you over the years that people are coming from different walks of life. So in understanding that people are coming from different walks of life, we got to understand that we're going to have people that's coming from that walk of life. And this is not nothing to belittle or look down on anybody on, but we cannot allow people to feel comfortable in that sin. First thing people say, well, people, you can't judge and this and that. I'm not judging. The Father has already judged. All we doing is holding the line and enforcing what he said. Mike didn't say it. The Father said it. So it's not anybody that's against that that's judging. It's the Father that's judging. We just hold the line and trying to bring people out of that sin so that they can reconcile their ways with the Most High. You can't have people sitting around in your congregation that's under the act, that's indulging in this stuff. And it's just, well, we just under grace. Ain't nobody perfect and this and that. No. You know, I know that people are coming from different walks of life and different things happen. But when you come into the presence of a man that has been sent by the Most High, a messenger, a shepherd, it's your job to help administer to people and help them get up out of sin, no matter what type of sin that they're coming from. So you can't have people sitting around feeling good in this way. Ain't nobody perfect, can't nobody judge you, so you're free to do. No, that's not the spirit. That's not the ruah that the Father would have us to have. So this is, like I said, this is not a attack. We've had people that come through here that struggle with these things, you know. So this is not about that, but it's about helping people to understand that the Father has already identified these things as an abomination, and we have to move away from these things. And if you've been sent by the Most High, then it's your job to preach this word to the people without worrying about any backlash or, retaliate or whatever. Because the word is this. That's why I be sitting back like, oh man, I wish that was me. I would take these Christians right to the book and say, ain't this what the word say? The Father said that. So what we get mad? Don't you say you love God and all the Father and stuff? What they gonna say? Man, it's all about love and, grace and all of this garbage. So at the end of the day, I hope you all enjoy this message. If you like it, share it, get this message out to the world. Because I would like to sit down with some of these people, and really have a discussion with them, because what they're doing is in direct rebellion of the word. And that's just what it is, So I hope you all enjoy your day. And I'm going to leave this message to y'all this morning. So shalom.